were being brought together and asked to work together in a place where his costumes had to be reproduced both in CGI and in reality, and her sets had to be reproduced in CGI and reality and in miniature. So it was like all of a sudden there's all of this overlap of requirement, and communication was critical.
One of the things that Batman and Robin has really given us the chance to do is explore new techniques and new imagery, because it's such a fanciful city. Using miniatures, using live action, using computer-generated characters, computer-generated ice, computer-generated freeze rays to create kind of entire new environments. What we have here is actually a shot that combines quarter-scale miniatures, a 60 by 40 trans-light photographic backing, some live-action green screen characters, and a CG character on a CG motorcycle. And it'll all come together in the final movie to look like a real scene in Gotham, and it will be indistinguishable as to which is which. The city is quarter-scale, the Batmobile is quarter-scale miniature, the characters are obviously live-action. We have people standing here and over here who are live-action green screen characters. The photographic backing is the city in the background, and the Robin on the motorcycle riding by is a computer-generated character.
Procedural stuff, smoke and dust and debris and fire and ice and all of that stuff. That was a huge challenge.
This is the skyboard sequence, and it's been pre-visualized before we start our photography. You really get a sense that you're just in the film, and you're falling and falling and falling and falling as the characters are. You, the audience, is falling as well, and so it's got a lot of dynamics to it. So what we have on the Moviola is the miniature photography that is our version of what you saw in the computer world. And so this is taking the data that the computer created and then tweaking it and working with it, because on a live stage it's a little different than what the images are in the computer world, but basically it's taking the intent of that move and creating it as these background plates. And this photography will then be scanned and taken back to the computer world, and then Mr. Freeze will be, and Robin and Batman will be placed in here. Also, we'll have some smoke that is coming out of the stacks and a lot of other enhancements that create a lot more texture to this sequence.
The skyboarding sequence was fun. It had enough reality to it that, for the most part, you came out of it thinking that the characters actually did that. It was ambitious for us to try and do that.
He's freezing the furnace!
It's a seminal time in visual effects, because that's the point where it was good enough to just come up with a process that could capture an image on film that vaguely represented what was written in the script. You had to either design a camera that traveled at the speed of light and stopped in 3 feet, or you had to design a rig that could do motion control at 30 miles an hour, or there was all of this technology involved. When the ability to create images in the digital environment, a pixel at a time, arrived, suddenly that engineering side started to drop away. And it dropped away fairly quickly as the digital environment matured. And it also meant, from a supervisor point of view, it got to be much less an engineer and much more